All right, everybody, good afternoon. It's time for the final mop up. We are going to make one final pass through the NFL draft prospects in this upcoming draft. And when we are done with this video, we will, in all likelihood, be done with our draft primer. We will have adequately introduced ourselves to over 100 prospects in this upcoming draft. We will have spent time in the areas where I thought it made sense to spend time, and we will have a very good foundation to work from on who we are going to draft. Now, I'll say it again, things can change, right? We've got more than a week between now and the draft. We could trade DK Metcalf. That would drastically change our perception of what we're going to do at wide receiver. We could re-sign Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell. That would probably indicate we're not looking to spend those picks on offensive linemen. Jamal Adams could suddenly retire and decide to walk the earth like Jules at the end of Pulp Fiction. I don't know. But with the information that we have right now, this is basically the end for me. There are still some other prospects that may be worth spending some time on. There might even be a couple guys the Seahawks take a look at in the next couple days that I haven't spoken on, but in terms of the draft primer, this is going to be the final video. And I'll say it, this video is made up largely of players the Seahawks had for a top 30 visit. And some of these guys are very obscure. It was actually really hard to find anything on these guys. I did the best I could, but I'm going to say it straight up. I don't have a novel about some of these guys. We got 6 guys today. They all play defense. They some of them are high profile, but a couple of them I can barely find any information on, and I don't want to spend a ton of time looking for it when I understand that this player is probably never going to be anything. Very high probability they're lucky to latch onto an NFL roster, extremely lucky to even latch onto a practice squad. I'll talk more about them if we actually acquire the player, but for the moment, I'm just going to say whatever little bit I was able to find. So, 6 players in this video, all defense, and once we are done, we can start actually constructing mock drafts, dream draft scenarios. Tomorrow, we will be looking to start to take a look at mock drafts that professionals are putting together. Later in the week, we're going to start putting together our own mock drafts. I laid out the schedule a few weeks ago in the community tab, so if you haven't seen that or you can't remember it, go look at it. It should give you an idea of what we're looking at. But we're getting serious here, guys. So 6 more guys. Let's do it. First guy is Percy Butler from Louisiana. He's a safety. Ran a very good 40 time, 4.36. Big reason why he has some credibility as a player. 6 feet tall, 194 pounds. Had 3 pretty productive seasons in college. His best season was 2021. Had 60 tackles, 6 for loss, 1 pick, and 4 pass deflections. But he was good the previous 2 years as well. This is a fairly productive career. Walter Football thinks he could go in the early portions or middle portions of the 3rd day. CBS actually really likes him. They think he could go in the 4th round. Draft Network and ESPN have him as a priority UDFA. So this guy's going to latch on somewhere almost certainly. So he played a lot at Louisiana, like I said, significant experience. He's really good against the run. Really good at coming up and filling in gaps in run defense. Really good at his run fits. Very fast, like I said, 4.3640. He's a very good special teamer as well. He's definitely a guy you can count on to be effective on special teams. He can hold up pretty well in zone coverage. If you ask him to do zone defense, he can hold up. He's lengthy. He's not huge or anything, but he's got good length, and he's a hard hitter. So this is maybe a strong safety type, I guess. He's not a great athlete, however, which is why he's not highly touted coming out of Louisiana. He's not the best tackler. He kind of does everything really well up until the point of the tackle, and you don't really want to put him in man defense. But interesting sleeper prospect for a backup safety. Cameron Good is the next guy. Still trying to figure out what I think of this guy. He's a California Golden Bear, 6'4", 240 pounds, 4.6340. Ran a nice 3-cone, 6.91. Decent 20-yard shuttle, 4.22. He played at Cal for 5 years. 2018, he basically missed. He didn't really do all that much. But if you take a look at the last 3 years in particular, throw out 2020 because it was the COVID year and Pac-12 players got screwed, but he's got over 100 tackles. He's got 16 sacks, 22 and a half tackles for loss. He was very productive kind of both ways. He was productive as a run defender and he was productive as a pass rusher. He made plays in the backfield on running backs and quarterbacks. I could only find him on one big board, although that one big board liked him a lot. CBS had him in the 5th. So I don't know if I expect this guy to get drafted or not. He's clearly got something going for him, but I don't know what he does in the NFL. If you look at his size, 240 is being generous. I've heard some sites say he's more like 235. That's too small to be an edge rusher. It's certainly too small to be a defensive end edge rusher, but he's not really what you're looking for in an inside linebacker either. So there is some stuff to like with that, but you also have to wonder what's he going to do. What I can say about him positively is he does play fast. He plays faster than his 40 time, I think. He's got good agility. He's intelligent when it comes to knowing where he's supposed to be, knowing where to go, knowing how to fill his assignment. He's good at fighting through traffic with strength, even though his strength is not the best. He's good at making plays in traffic. He's high effort, always trying really hard. Like I said, I don't know what he's going to do in the NFL, but that also means he may very well end up being able to play a hybrid role where he plays inside and outside. He can do edge rusher stuff. He can do inside linebacker stuff. The issues with him are that he might be too small to actually be that edge rusher. If he's really like 240, and 240 might be generous, by the way, like I said, he could be 235. Then you're looking at a guy who probably is going to be a little too small and weak to do damage as a outside linebacker edge rusher. And I don't know if this kind of player profile fits all that well as an inside linebacker, especially in a 3-4 or a hybrid. He's not a great tackler. He does miss too many tackles. His form is a little sus. And he is going to have to work hard to find his role. I don't know if he needs to get bigger. I don't know if he needs to get more agile. But as of right now, he kind of seems like a tweener. Going to be kind of stuck in the middle. Okay, next guy is Deontay Williams. I struggled to find much of anything on this guy. Nebraska Cornhusker, so he played with a Jojo Doman, who I did talk about. This is another safety that Nebraska had. 5'11", 203 pounds, basically a 4.640. Really nice three-cone, though, 6.78. 4.0 120-yard shuttle, so his agility scores are nice. He had 2 seasons of production that I was able to find, almost 100 tackles, 6 for loss. But he really put himself on the map in 2021 by bringing in 4 interceptions. So showed some ball hawk skills in 2021. He's a smart player. He plays with a high football IQ. He's good at diagnosing route combinations. He does have a strong burst when he starts moving towards where he wants to get going. Good acceleration. Is a pretty good athlete. Good agility scores. He's a hard hitter. However, even though he's got a good burst, I feel like he plays slow from time to time. Like, sometimes it seems like on the field he's slower than even his 4.6 40. He does let players get behind him. He can get beat over the top by receivers. And sometimes he responds to that by getting grabby in coverage. He is probably going to pick up some penalties at the NFL level. I don't know what to really say about this guy other than that. I couldn't find him on a single big board. I know the Seahawks had him for a visit, but I'm not getting any indication this guy's likely to get drafted. This guy's probably a UDFA. At UDFA level, there's certainly nothing wrong with it, but there isn't a whole ton to say about him other than that seems like he's pretty smart in terms of diagnosing routes, and he showcased ball hawk skills in 2021. Okay, next up we have a guy who a lot of people have been turned on to in recent days. It's Michael Clemons from Texas A&M. This guy's really interesting. Rob Stanton was kind of the first to the punch here, but he is a hyped prospect by a lot of people. Texas A&M, 6'5", 263 pounds, so a little bit bigger. He's got that size that you want. 4.8 40, but I think this is actually a projection. He didn't actually run a 40 time at the combine. I couldn't find an actual 40 time that he ran. He's got really long arms, 35 inches. He's got 3 years of production, but he didn't really get attention until 2021. 32 tackles, 11 for loss, 7 sacks, 2 pass deflections, a forced fumble. That season put him on the map. Walter Football loves him. They think he could go in the 3rd, but These other websites have him going in the 4th or the 5th, which I think is far more likely. I think Michael Clemons is probably going to be a 4th-round pick as of right now. And there is quite a bit to like. He had a breakout 2021 season. He did stuff standing up and with his hand in the ground. So great fit for a hybrid defense, right? He's going to be great in a hybrid defense, I think. He's got great explosion off the snap. His phenomenal length allows him to set the edge against the run and become really hard to deal with in run defense as well. And he's an overall solid athlete in terms of his burst off the snap. The issues with him are that I don't think he moves all that fluidly. His movement is a little awkward to watch sometimes, I feel like. He misses some tackles. I feel like his tackle form can be a little questionable. He doesn't really have a lot of bend as a pass rusher, which is one of the key traits that you look for when it comes to an edge rusher. And he did have some off-field issues. I think he got caught carrying a firearm in a no-firearm area or something like that. So you're going to have to deal with that potentially. But this is a guy who's really come on as a potential 4th-round target for the Seahawks. I like what I see well enough. I could definitely see the appeal. Next up, we have Daniel Hardy. This is one of the guys who it's really hard to find much on. He played at Montana State, so very small school. 6'2", 235-pound defensive end, edge rusher. So right away you're looking at that and you're going, he's going to have to add weight or he's going to have to change positions. 4.69 40 times, 6.71 3-cone, 4.33 20-yard shuttle. Decent. 20 bench press reps, pretty good. I could only find his stats for 1 year, but it was a big year. 2021, 77 tackles, 24 for loss, 16 sacks, league leader in those categories almost in the FCS, 2 forced fumbles and 3 pass deflections. So he played weak competition at Montana State, but there's no denying the elite production that he had. He's got good burst off the edge. That's the best I could find on him. He's going to be very raw, though. He's going to struggle against the run, probably. So he's probably a UDFA guy. And speaking of UDFAs, here's our last guy. It's Rodney Thomas from Yale. I had a very hard time finding anything on him. As near as I can tell, the only reason why he's considered to be a interesting prospect and might get drafted, and I don't think he will, I think he's going to be UDFA, is because he had a good pro day, he had a good vertical, and he ran a 4.5 140, 6'2", 196 pounds, 7.02 3-cone, 4.02 20-yard shuttle. Pretty good 20-yard shuttle, so that's good. His 2021 was the only year I could find his numbers for. 50 tackles, 2 interceptions, 11 passes deflected. So he showcased some real abilities to make plays on the ball. So that combined with his pro day probably got him on the map here. But I don't think he's going to get drafted as of right now. Like I said, it's the athletic ability he showed at the combine combined with the ball skills that have him in this position. However, when he was at Yale, he actually played linebacker. And he certainly can't play linebacker in the NFL. He's not even 200 pounds. So he is going to be playing a new position. He's going to move to safety in the NFL. And you have to wonder, can he handle that? Probably a strong safety, you would figure. So at least he doesn't have to worry about defending deep stuff over the top. But you don't know if he's going to make that transition. And of course, at Yale, you're playing weak competition. So I got nothing else to say other than that, to be perfectly honest. It was really hard to find much of anything on like half these guys. And the him in particular was really, really hard, Rodney Thomas. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think I still let somebody slip through the cracks on defense. But the draft primer's done. So starting tomorrow, we're going to start doing mock draft work. I'm going to start by looking at the mock drafts that the experts are putting together. I'm going to probably do a stream in the next day or two just to talk about this draft primer series, to see how people are feeling about this team and what they can do with all this information. So I hope to see you guys there whenever I do it, but we did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. I filled over 50 pages in Google Docs with prospect notes, and hopefully we end up drafting mostly players that I actually looked at, and it's not like last year when I didn't even have Dwayne Eskridge or Trey Brown on my radar. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching this series. It's been fun. Hope nothing massive changes before the draft, but if it does, then we have more work to do. But for now, we are good. I will see you guys later. Peace out, go Hawks. Catch you on Twitch tonight, and let the mock drafts begin.